That alone, verse number 15. Time as the magical spell of pure duration and the engulfing death of painful protraction. And the verse is as follows. To the blessed ones who have sucked the milk of para, 10,000 years is but a moment. But if knowledge succumbs to apara prakriti, half a second seems like 1,000 years. Commentary. Some people are always caught in one difficult situation or another. They need to have something to cry about. There is always darkness surrounding them, and yet we cannot say they are bad people. They have very tender minds, highly suggestible. They are compassionate. Mostly they suffer because of their relationship with someone, or else they have economic difficulties, physical diseases, mental aberrations. Even if you try to help them, as soon as you pull them out of one tight situation, they slip into another. After some time, you become fed up with them. It looks as if they can never be helped. What is wrong with them? They are caught in the necessities of a relativistic world. In a moderate way, we all suffer from the same problem. We are human beings, so our lives are all intertwined and interrelated. Naturally, we have to be sympathetic to the needs of those whom we love. Our own needs can also be very pressing. When the day breaks, several necessities come and stand before us, asking for our attention. There are many obligations. We have to oblige this friend or that relative. If you have a sensitive mind which exaggerates situations, then even little things will appear very urgent, needing to be done immediately, and you can get into an anxiety neurosis. Afterwards, you regret what you have done in haste. The regret over what you have done, the anxiety over what is yet to be done, and the darkness in which the present moment is caught, assault you from all sides, and then all you can do is sit and suffer. In the present verse, this state is described as getting caught in apara prakriti. A means not, para means the absolute. When a situation proliferates or something multiplies and recurs, it is prakriti. Most of the things in our life are recurrent. We have breakfast, but by noon we are hungry. Then we have lunch, but by evening we are hungry again. Hunger is recurring. Our needs, most of which have to do with the body and the mind, can all multiply in this way. In an earlier verse, we were discussing another element in us, the witnessing consciousness. There is a flickering light which is like a spark somewhere in us, which is not afflicted or affected by any of the passing qualities of life. This is actually the spark of the spirit in us. It is our self. The necessities of life can easily overpower and veil the subtle light. Suppose you befriend it. If you are in search of yourself, be friends with that little shimmering spark in you. In fact, the love that you give to others comes from it, and the love you enjoy arises when it is touched by another person. If your mind is conjoined with the divine spark, you begin to experience a more beautiful world within yourself. This is what Jesus was referring to when he said, "The kingdom of God is within you." We have such a very rich treasure in us. When you find it, the remorses of the past do not bother you anymore. You cannot do anything with the past. It is gone. let the dead bury the dead. Along with the past, bury your regrets also. Catholics go and confess to a priest. With the confession, a feeling comes that now, whatever it was, is over. That's a fine thing. But even without going and telling another person, you can say, what is done is done. I can't do anything about it. If it has no value, I won't repeat it. That's all you do, and then it leaves you. Regarding the future, you can say, let it come. When it comes, I will see. It's not that you should not plan your life, but instead of seeing 100 problems all at once, make 99 problems wait while you take up the one problem that is most relevant. Then, if your mind does not exaggerate it, it won't look particularly unnatural. And what could your problem be anyway? If it is of the body, people are always being born, while others are dying. This is only normal. Growth brings other problems. A child cries when a tooth is coming in. There is nothing we can do about it. We cannot prevent the pain. Our sitting and crying with the child doesn't do any good. You just understand that the child is having a tooth come in. Then after some time, gray hairs come, wrinkles come, the face changes, teeth fall out. What of that? Are these not natural? We shouldn't exaggerate them. In the course of a day, we may have to do many things, or we may have very little to do. Many of the things which look imperative are not. They can be avoided, dropped off. The growth of the mind brings many problems. The seeming needs of the mind are multiplied by television and other advertising. Everyone is trying to catch your attention because you are the consumer. To make you consume the goods they manufacture, greed is to be generated and lust to be stimulated. Thus, there is an external influence which is trying to make your mind thirsty, hungry, haggard all the time, with a sense of poverty, thinking, I don't have this, I don't have that. These can all be dropped one by one. We need to be doing two things simultaneously. One is going inward and befriending our own spirit, our dear friend, that is the divine. We are realizing the self within. In other words, seeking the kingdom of God within ourselves. The other is in regard to the outer world, the world of necessity. We need to give up all exaggerations and become more matter of fact. We are still sympathetic, but we are changing the mode of our sympathy. Perhaps your most beloved friend is in a state of crisis. He or she is in great darkness. Instead of adding your own darkness to theirs, you should try to bring them to your joy. Share your joy with them and not your sadness. This does not appeal to most people. As soon as they see the other person's face, long and sad, their countenance falls and they also become sad. They think it's a must that if their friend is crying, they should be too. It is not necessary. When Arjuna was caught in the most terrible situation between two armies and the missiles were flying, he stood there in tears. Krishna was also standing right next to him in the same situation, but he smiled. This implicitly showed that there was a way out of the seemingly insurmountable difficulties. It was with this smile that Krishna started Arjuna's program of correction. So you should offer your smile and not your tears. This is not something that can be accomplished in just one day, but it definitely can be accomplished. When our friend comes and plays the piano, he is lost in it. He does not know how time passes. Those of us who sit and listen also forget everything. What is happening? There is music in all of us, and our life is music. Our life has in it a rhythmic flow, a rhapsody, a melody. It is harmonious. When the harmony in us is evoked, the spirit comes to prevail. Our deeper nature becomes more prominent than our outer nature. The outer nature and the inner nature come together in a state of harmony. We go into our own depths. For this brief time, we are not in this world. After playing for some time, our friend gets up from the piano. We all feel that we were in another world, and now we are returning from it. We are sitting on the same couch, in the same room, with the same people, but we were all different for a time. The seat was more comfortable and restful. All this magic was done by music. Another friend is in her studio, getting into her day's work. It's not work to her, it's a creation of beauty. Each stroke of the brush is opening up a new joy. What was never seen before is now coming from her. It is an opening up, an unfoldment. This unfoldment is rich with wonder, the revelation of beauty. The center of the soul is resonating with what the eye sees. Thus, the objective world and the subjective world become related in the spark of joy. It is this spark we should be friends with. Two lovers meet, they look into each other's eyes. They are never tired of seeing each other. Again and again, they gaze with a sense of wonder. They are absolutely oblivious of everything happening around them. They are only two people. There is nothing else in the world. They look into each other's eyes as if they are swallowing each other. They touch, they hold each other. There is ecstasy, nothing but ecstasy. When a child is playing with a toy, he does not know how time passes either. In his rapture, he is just like the others, or rather, they are like him. But when all of them come out of their state of unity, the world of misery is again outside, waiting to pounce on them. The musician is no longer a musician. The lover is not a lover. The artist is not an artist. The child is no longer engaged in his child's nature. All are once again the victims of necessity. Yet, it is possible to retain continuous joy by getting into companionship with your own real self. Call it whatever name you want. Call it God, Krishna, Jesus, Beloved, whatever. It is your own. It is all the time with you. We see some rare people who have no money, but who have risen above their entanglements in the world of necessity. They may live in rags and be physically unhealthy, but they have a twinkle in their eyes, a joy in their heart, a smile on their lips, a tenderness in their attitude, and a kind word to say. They can always cheer you up, even at the moment they are passing away. It is a great joy just to sit by them. They are like a light that shines before you. We cherish the company of such people. They are the real light of this world. They don't need anything, and yet they have a richness by which they can enrich the mind of everyone. Why should you not be that person? You don't have to invest anything for it. Only change your attitude of life a little. Then, when your life is changed, it changes the lives of others too. Many people used to ask Ramana Maharishi what they could do for the world, and he always asked them, who is doing for whom? Thus, their focus was turned to their own selves. If I want to make you happy, I myself should be a happy person. If I am sad, how can I make you happy? To make you smile, I should first of all know how to smile. I should know what peace is to bring peace to you. We have to discover the peace within ourselves, the joy within ourselves. This can be done only if the friendship that we cultivate with the spirit within becomes continuous, unbroken. This is like magic. Your world tomorrow won't be the same. You live in exaggeration. This world is not as bad as you paint it. What is madness? Madness is a positive or a negative exaggeration of the mind. If you see a thing in its natural value or worth, not more or less, it is a sane attitude, but we tend to exaggerate. If someone is busy doing something and you pass by and they do not smile or greet you, you say, "Oh, he does not like me anymore. That's why he didn't greet me." You are so self conscious and poverty stricken, wanting somebody's attention all the time. What kind of a terrible disease is this? If you didn't have such a disease, you would say, "Oh, my friend was very busy today, so absorbed in himself that he didn't see me." It amuses you. He didn't even see me. The other attitude is, he deliberately ignored me. One thing is seen two different ways. One hurts you and the other amuses you. So why should you be on the side of being hurt rather than amused? I'm speaking of you, not some faraway people. You can make your world a real heaven. This is the paradise. There is no other. This is a happy world, right in the palm of your hand, every day, but you throw it away. This is the promise Narayana Guru gives in this verse. And the free translation of verse 15 is as follows. To those fortunate ones who are enjoying the cream of absolute wisdom, 10,000 years appears no more than a fleeting instant. But to those who are caught in the snare of relativism, even a split second can seem an eternity.